Hello, Kris. Thank you so much for being here today. Happy
Thank you.
Wednesday.
Thank you.
Yes, welcome to Illuminate and Create. Yes, so you are a healer and a
Yes.
teacher and an
Yes.
embodiment coach. So why is that you do what you do?
Well, I mean, I guess for me, it really, I've always wanted to help people. Well, I shouldn't say always. I had a serious car accident at 13, and it was really at that point, having gone through that and almost dying, I really realized, or at least there's something awakened with me that I wanted to help people. And, that wasn't really a conscious thing. I think people around me had said that they noticed that, but it wasn't until like I was an adult that I realized, but I was in search of wanting to help people. Um, and, uh, and so it led me on a journey to discover, what I do now, really. Yeah.
Mhm. So you were 13 years old when you had the car accident.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Yes.
yeah, I was just regular weekend. I was going to my grandmother's cottage. My parents were actually celebrating their wedding anniversary. So it was just me, my sister, my grandmother, and she fell asleep at the wheel and we hit a rock cut. And yeah, and actually out of the three of us, I looked probably the best out of everybody, but ended up being the worst. I'd cut my seatbelt. I'd fallen asleep and my seatbelt had been I'd slouched a little bit and my seatbelt ended up tearing my bowels and I was bleeding internally. And that
Mhm.
led to some difficulties. I didn't know what was going on. And so I had some surgery and and it really actually was not really, I didn't get really quality care in the hospital. My doctor really wasn't really listening to really what was going on. Some of the nurses, and the nurses at the time were very afraid of the doctors. So they didn't really speak up. But several nurses came up to my mom and says, "You need to do something like switch doctors." And my parents were like, "What do I do?" And it wasn't until I think a nun came up to my mom and said, "Look, we're really worried about your son. You need to get a second opinion." And so they fired the doctor, and another doctor came and said, "Oh, we got to do this." And boom, I started to get better after that point. But they were said like
Mhm.
it was critical, like I was near death. And I mean, at the time, I didn't know this was happening.
Yeah.
It wasn't until like an adult, my mom was telling me the story about really what was going on.
Mhm. Yes, well, I'm glad that,
Yeah.
that people spoke up and was listened to. And like you say, it
Right.
was a little bit later on when you realized that in that experience, that awakening that you had
Yeah.
as an adult. Yes. So, how do you help people?
Well, really, several different ways, really. I currently, like part of like prior to COVID, I worked on people locally. So people would come with me with various issues from, back pain to constipation, headaches, even I've had more serious issues from, multiple sclerosis clients, Parkinson's, all sorts of things. And, they come to me to help them however I can help them. And really what I do was just help the body restore as much balance as we can. We raise their energy to allow them to heal as much as their body is willing or capable of healing. And I also do things at a distance. So, people, and it's kind of like a meditation. I get into a meditative state and I tune into their energy. And, they're also I get them in a meditative state. So as long as they sit, relax, and I can tap into their energy and balance their energy from afar. So I've had clients from as far as I've had clients in Europe, obviously, and in the States. I've had clients in Mexico, all places, all sorts of different places. Caribbean, because I've
Yes.
had
Yeah.
uh, Trinidad and Tobago clients. Yeah, I've had people from all over. So yeah,
Mhm.
but today it's more like you talked about being a more embodiment coach, and this is where I get. It could be in a group setting or one-on-one where I get people to help them heal themselves. So kind of COVID was a gift for me in the sense that I wanted people to take more responsibility for their health. For me, it was like, Kris, I'm broken, fix me. And, that was great. But, I felt this calling of like, I was working on myself and, I went through my own healing journey and, in all different aspects from health to, relationships to money. And so I was seeing these improvements in myself and, I wanted to share this gift with other people, but I didn't really know how to transition this. And then COVID came and it was really just an opportunity for me to take this online. And so now I can help people again all over, but it's all on video. And I help and I teach people how to heal themselves by bringing their minds and their bodies together. There's been such a disconnect with, television, video games, and work and drugs and alcohol. It takes us out of our bodies and stuck in our heads. And we're
Mhm.
constantly in our heads and not in our bodies. And a lot of our issues are related to our bodies. And, a lot of it, people say, well, what are you talking about? But if you ever worry about somebody or you're angry or, you know, uh, you know, there's some grief, you actually feel that in your body. You have stress at work. Here's a simple one. You feel that. Maybe you get neck tension or headaches or neck pain or back tightness. These are common symptoms of a, something happening, stress being emotional, physically affecting us. But this is, you know, stuff from our past stuff, and so I help people be mindful of that and getting them to recognize, okay, I feel it in my body, and I help people and guide people on how to clear that now, because it's really just trapped emotion. And once you let go of that, the emotion disappears, and all of a sudden people are now calm, relaxed, they let go of that trigger. So a lot of therapies today is that they talk about it and that's great, but they don't feel it. And it's really the feeling aspect of it that really helps people let go of it, because that's what your body's trying to do is
Mhm.
help you to feel that again. And that's all I do is I teach people how to feel it and let go, let it go. So it doesn't come up anymore. So if you're triggered by something, say your neighbor's dog barking, we work through that, or all of a sudden you're not triggered by that anymore. The dog barks, but it doesn't get you angry or upset or whatever. It could be a belief about something. Maybe you have a belief about, feeling not good enough or lack. I work you through that, and all of a sudden that dissipates. I mean, it's not, some of these are a little bit more broader and deeper, but it's the same idea.
Mhm. Well, that is beautiful. And I love all that you
Thank you.
mentioned, especially working with energy in all our bodies and systems. The physical, emotional, the mental, the spiritual ether are all energy, right? So it doesn't
Right.
matter where we are, that intention, and everybody has the ability to love and heal. And it's learning those tools and techniques and just clarifying things. So it's beautiful what you do. So, what would you
Thank you.
say is your greatest success story with someone that you've worked with? And what did you learn from that experience?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Mm.
I mean, there's a couple that come to mind, because there's different ways that I've helped people, but from a physical level, I had a client who, and who came to me for back pain, and he ended up actually like, pooping out a tumor, and he never, and the craziest thing is like, he never, his back pain, he came, did his back pain ever go away? This was some time ago. And I don't know if his back pain ever went away, because he lived far and he was coming pretty far. And he was amazed that he pooped out this tumor. And I don't want to promise that for people.
Mhm.
But, that was a really remarkable story. And whether his back pain went away or not, that's not really what the universe sent him to me for. Right.
Mhm.
And, that was a really remarkable story. And as far as embodiment work, I had a client who was abused as a child, and she's been through therapy, and she thought that was resolved. It was a family member had abused her sexually, and but for whatever reason, she really couldn't like sustain a relationship, in like a healthy relationship. And so we did some work with her in embodiment work, and she came to me. She's like, "Kris, I love men." And I'm like, "Oh, okay." She's like, "No, you don't get it. I didn't love men before, but now I can honestly say I love men." But you know, there was a block or some kind of resistance that she had to let go of, that she wasn't like, that she couldn't really love a man. because of what happened.
Mm.
And so that was really amazing to see as well. Like the joy in her
Yeah.
face again.
So
Yeah.
whatever happened with the work that you guys did, it helped her transition to feeling
Right.
um, comfortable and safe within her temple as a female,
Right.
and be
Yeah. That's a great way
work
of
past that
saying it.
experience.
Right. And so
Yeah.
what all it is that there was a block there. And so there was some kind of resistance, right? And a lot of times we don't see that. So I help people see what's in the way, and that goes away. And what's left, like you said, is like this awareness again that was always there, but we can't see it because it's like a mountain is in the way of what's behind. And we just cut the mountain off or eliminate the mountain. All of a sudden it's like, boom, it's that beautiful sunny day that you've been looking for, that's been hiding behind this big mountain. That's, you could see sun around it, but it's been, you know, covered by mountain. So yeah.
Yeah. And then that client that you were speaking of that had the back pain and the tumor, and that's, what happens is we're divine souls here for a human experience. And then sometimes we
Right.
just get stuck in that one thing and take on that identity. But as we do the energy work, as we do the healing, right, it's that person given permission for the soul to heal. Your soul already knows it. So it's like, he was able to move that out, right? Because it caused a blockage, like you're speaking of, in the
Right.
bodies and systems, a disease because the energy couldn't flow, which turned into a disease, but he was able to get rid of that through working with you.
Right. Yeah. So that
So
was,
amazing,
yeah.
incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Work. So what would be like, I don't like to use the word failure, but like a difficult story with someone that you've worked with? And how
Right.
did you recover from it? And what did you learn?
Hmm. Yes. Yeah. I guess for me, really, um, you know, even like having this conversation, like, I think the biggest difficulty was with myself because really, um, even for me to share these stories of like these successes, had I not done some of the work they've done on myself, I could have never have done that because, early on in my work, you know, I could see 100 people and 99 of the people are feeling fantastic. They feel better. They're grateful. Maybe not nine, say even 97, but I'm focused on the three that didn't get better. And I could not even tell you like, about this guy that had the back pain that, I would not, that doesn't, wouldn't even cross my mind because I was only focused on the three that I couldn't get better. And, it wasn't until I kind of like, even a friend said, Kris, like you just told me about another story in passing about this incredible story. And here you are just, and I couldn't get past that. I was just like, you know, I wanted everyone to feel better. And those three just drove my, and I got my own way. So I realized like, look, I can't help everybody. And it's okay to have these successes and share these successes because I wouldn't have, I feel like it's gloating or, bragging and, or overconfidence or, whatever. I'd have a story around that. So I would never share those successes. And so I think I was my own way. Did I help everyone? No, I had my own fare of, difficulty clients. I've had people that, maybe didn't get better or didn't get as well as they wanted to, and I would, and sometimes, I'd blame myself about those three.
Mhm.
But in what I learned is like, I can't get everybody better. And some people don't want to be better. you
Mhm.
know I had people that were feeling better. My own grandfather, he came in for one visit and felt better, and he's out, that day he's out cutting wood at his cottage. He was, um and then the pain came back again. Oh, it didn't work, Kris. I'm like, well,
Mhm.
grandpa, you gotta take it easy. Like I said, well, I was feeling so good, I had to, so I said, so he came in one more time, maybe a few weeks later, and then he felt good for, I don't know, maybe a week or whatever. And Then he started doing something again at his cottage and the pain came back. Oh, it doesn't work. And that was like his whole story, his whole life. And I told him, like, look, you know, um, it's nothing. You can't take a pill one time. You can't exercise one time. You can't, it's a process, like when have you ever been out of pain for a week, but some people just don't want to see the changes or don't want to be better. And, that's my own family. And I had those clients too. And some people I've had that didn't want to get better or I
Mhm.
couldn't fix, so, and it's grateful that I am creating, um, another change for me because I kept staying in my own little bubble that I'm creating a network of people that look, if I can't help them, maybe somebody else that I work with can, and, and I share that, which, I wouldn't have done in the past because, so focused in my own little world.
Mhm.
So
Yes, and
I would, yeah,
that's the thing too, right? Like everybody has like deeper levels, different dimensions of themselves from before, and we can get caught up in that only physical body, our conditions self
right,
that is like not even our programming or old programming, and we can just bounce back into that. Um,
right,
so yes, there's people that we all can work with, and they'll see results, but it is that individual that has to do a lot of the work, right? And like you
right,
say, it's the mind, it's the soul, it's the body, it's a combination
right.
of a lot of different things. So what are you currently working on that is most like exciting and inspirational to you?
What am I? Yeah, I mean, obviously, like, this embodiment work is, newer as far as online, so that's exciting. And you know yeah, that's really, yeah, what I do is fun, so I can't really, there's nothing necessarily exciting. I am putting, maybe a program together and writing a book, and those are some exciting things that, a book to help people, to teach people how to heal, and, a package with that as well, as far as like a program that kind of goes with the book. So those are some things that I'm working on. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and that
So many
all
things I
takes
never
time.
thought about it. Yeah. It takes time.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yes, and creativity and stuff that you're passionate about and stuff that you've
Right.
healed within yourself and experienced from other people. And that's the thing with we have the ability, we're expansive souls to love and heal. That's why we're here. But it's continuing to move forward, right? Because if there
Yeah.
wasn't more to love and heal, we would be complete and not here on the physical realm. So if you're to go back in time before you got into doing this work, and were to like start all over again from scratch, what would you know now that would be like, say, three most valuable pieces of advice you would give to yourself?
Hmm. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I think everything happens for a reason. Um, I think, what would I do differently? I think, you know, there was a time where I kind of just took a break, or there was a point in my life where I just thought, like, you know, I mean, for lack of better words, I knew everything about spiritual. I just knew it. I thought, I had this awareness, like, oh yeah, just like what else? But there was all this stuff behind the scenes that I didn't know that I didn't know, and I wish I would have reached out for help. That would be one of my valuable things. I think, whether it's just that man in me, or that I could do it myself, or that I don't need help. I think if that would be the one, at least one thing that I would really look at. If I could do it again, I would have really looked at asking for help sooner, reached
Mhm.
out to people sooner, not trying to be this lone wolf.
Yeah.
And that would have been probably like uh, the one and number one, and probably the only thing that I would, if I could do something different, is, ask for help earlier, especially when you feel like you know it, or you're at a point where, like, I know everything. Well, then you just know you don't know everything,
Mhm.
and that was like, um end up being a breakdown in my marriage, and that was like a whole new thing that opened up. But had I known at the time, like I don't know everything, or I should ask for something because somebody knows something that I don't know. And I think that, a lot of people get stuck at like, asking for help is hard, or they want to do this on their own. And
Yes.
I've got friends the same, whether it's in business, they want to make the mistakes in business. And I'm like, well, why? Like, there's so many people that have already done it. So
Mhm.
that would be it, is asking for help sooner.
Yeah.
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 And I wouldn't have went through some
Yeah.
of the
And
struggles that I went through. And sure, I'm grateful for where it is brought me. But
mhm.
had I asked for help sooner, I could have been where I am, and even, still in a fantastically fabulous marriage, and still be, whatever, who knows. And I'm
Yeah.
grateful for where I am, but, I'm just saying that sometimes, reaching out for that help sooner.
hmm
Yep.
Yeah. And we can do, everybody can do whatever work they're doing and stuff. And we've been conditioned to think, maybe possibly there, if we have that confirmation outside of ourselves, or we need a mentor, or we need a teacher, that could be like a weakness, but it's growing forward. It's constantly being in
Right.
that flow of things. And as we develop and we learn that, then and it's all divine timing, right? We're always exactly where we need to be, as long
Right.
as we don't get in that
And,
comfort zone, right?
and,
So,
and it's not just that, it's like, for me, at least, it was like, even the financial point, it's just like, oh, I don't want to spend the money. Like, am I going to get something from that? And most people, like, whether it's their health, or in my case, in my relationship, I didn't want to pay for anything until, like, all of a sudden, in my health, even too, it's like all of a sudden, like, now I'm in this point of being sick. I'm like, now I'm starting to, get help, pay money for my own health. And because I'm like, I'm this healer, I can help myself. And I couldn't,
mm,
and it wasn't
yeah.
until a point where I'm on the brink of, like, I had needing a kidney transplant. I mean, I'm in this point where, like, I need to get help. So I'm paying money, I'm seeing other healers, I'm getting acupuncture, I'm doing all these things now, but it's too late. I mean, I should have stepped out and got help sooner. In that case, my marriages was falling apart. It wasn't until it was already kind of apart and collapsed that I reached out and got a coach, and a men's coach and a relationship coach, and I'm just like most people out there. So, wait till it's too
Mhm.
late. People come to me when
Yeah.
sometimes it's too late with their health. I'm like, well,
Mhm.
I never want to say it's too late, but, if they would
Yeah.
have, simple thing is back pain. How long have you had it?
Mhm.
Oh, 3 months. And they've been a client for years. I'm like, why are you waiting that long to come back?
Mhm.
It's just that mentality that we have, like, oh, I got to spend money, or
Yes.
whatever it is that's stopping you from coming in. And for me, it was partly money, partly maybe my own ego. Yeah.
Mhm.
So, yeah,
And time too. Time can, and that's all that
sure.
conditioned self, right? I'm not
Right.
worthy to spend this much on myself, or I'm not
Right.
of value, or there's not
Right.
time. That's all that old programming. It's all that
Yeah.
stuff that's not even in our belief system, right? And it's
Yeah.
there for everybody, because we're all divine, unique souls having a human experience. So it does come up. And sometimes it's like a
Right.
toddler, and sometimes it's right there. But that part just needs to be healed, and for us to recognize. Well, thank
Right.
you for all your sharing. Now, how
Thank you.
can we support you? Do you have like a website? How would you like people to
Yeah.
find you?
So, yeah, I got a couple. I mean, I guess, yeah, my website, it's www.belfry, Belfry, wellness.com. There you can see my options for what I do. And you can check me out, Kris Belfry, on my YouTube channel. I have, a ton of videos that you can watch for free. There's some free meditations on there. And, I do a weekly free call on meetups. So there's lots of different ways. If you want to reach out to me and just ask some questions, feel free to do that. And you can do that on my website as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much. And I'll get you to drop those links down below in the comments, so people can see
Awesome.
them and reach out to you.
Thank you. Thank you.
But thank you. I love the work that you do. I
Thank you
love your
kindly.
openness of sharing your journey.
Thank
And
you kindly.
Yes, everything that we share can help. We illuminate each other, right? Everything can help other people. So thank you so
Absolutely.
much, Kris.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. And I wish you all the very best.
All
Have
right.
a wonderful
Yes.
Wednesday.
Yes, you too. And
All
sending
right.
lots of love.
Love,
Okay.
love to you and everybody out there. Take care.
All right. Bye
Bye now.
bye.